Quality from to our customers and ensuring that to our people we're creating an environment that is first class, second to none. We're not the only company that's doing this, of course. Everybody has a focus to some degree, to extent. So my purpose is simply to share some things with you that we feel are some of our best practices, some outside of the box thinking, or at least how we as Teleperformance kind of prioritize our focus and our efforts on creating value differentiation for our customers and for our people. The video touched briefly on a couple of key processes. TOPS, I mentioned early on, is kind of being the standardized performance management model for how we operate in any teleperformance center. And the reason such a model is so critical to have a standard in place, you think about all that growth that we just showed inside of the Philippines. You look at the youth inside of this industry in the Philippines. You think about the ability to keep up with leadership development and finding enough qualified frontline supervisors, middle management, trainers, site directors. We would all, for all of us who are in BPO companies in the Philippines, I don't know about you, but for me, I would prioritize is that one of the biggest challenges is being able to identify and cultivate leadership at the pace to keep up with the growth inside of the market. So when the supervisor, who is typically 22, 23 years old, relatively fresh out of school, they've cut their teeth on the phones for you for a little bit, now they're stepping into a management position. For you and I, we spent much more time readying ourselves or going to schools. We're specifically focused on that career path that would take years to move up that career. Here, you can career path from an agent to a site director in 5 years. It's astronomical. So the process is absolutely critical because it's a prescribed focus point for our frontline supervisors to ensure they're having touch points with their people day in, day out, and focus on the things that are making a difference for the individuals who are on their teams. I'll have to have you sign NDAs if I were to show you the whole process. But, this is really the enabler for us, for our supervisors to follow that prescribed process. It ensures that they've got 80% of their time focused on their team, their people, their coaching sessions. They're inside their bays with their people, available to address calls and questions and comments. Not having to spend time doing data entry, analytics, all of that information being pushed directly to them. Employee engagement, you saw Teleperformance for Fun mentioned earlier. Go to YouTube, type in Teleperformance for Fun. You really want to laugh, put Philippines in there as well. We had 35 countries participate in an annual promotion that we run across the group to really build camaraderie, networking across the group, a lot of excitement about opportunities inside of Teleperformance. And it's just a fun way of us recognizing and providing interest in activities outside of the workspace so that they've got something fun, they've got something new. I'll skip past the video on that one real quick.
Year one.
But sports club, our customers partner with us on this. I would push on them to continue to invest because the more your employees can identify with your brands, then the more that they're going to create a little level of stickiness to the brand and not want to leave because they create that family environment, but they create the identity with your customer base. And our clients actually sponsor the events. They invest in the jerseys, and we have everything from basketball competitions to billiards to boxing, so forth and so on. Citizens of the World is our corporate social responsibility initiative. I think we're one of the leaders inside of the Teleperformance group of doing this inside of the Philippines. Unfortunately, due to whether it be the social climate or some of the calamities that have occurred through the years, we have more opportunities to do things in the Philippines. After Typhoon Ondoy a few years back, there was a village in Thani, Rizzo province that was completely devastated and wiped out. And we really kind of pulled our employee base together to contribute to an effort to invest in the rebuilding of their village. And we all know in the Philippines, Christmas parties are a pretty big deal. Being a Catholic country, if we don't make that investment, which is mind-boggling to me, my CFO about ripped my throat out when he saw what our budget was for a Christmas party. It was pretty impressive to me to see that our entire employee base voted to forego the Christmas party and the significant budgets attached to it and make that whole donation of that budget specifically to this village and that particular effort. So I think that's pretty telling of the Filipino people. And pretty telling of our employee base at the same time. Now we've taken it a step further. We've gone back to all of our clients, really promoted this, and we've gotten all of them involved. And now all of our clients are making investments, and they're building houses and putting their brands on it, so getting them involved at the same time. Citizens of the Planet, similar corporate social responsibility initiative, really focusing on all things green. Tree planting up at La Mesa Watershed. And then really kind of boiling it down to some of the other employment engagement activities. If you want to create a best place to work, you want to focus first and foremost on the people that you're bringing into the organization. And there's no better way to do that than to leverage your current employee base and pressing them to tell their friends and their family members about Teleperformance and bringing them into the group. We see about 35% of all of our employee ads coming from the referral base. That certainly creates an added layer of stickiness too. So people are more apt to want to stay in the environment because they immediately step in and they connect with people that they know. We're also sponsoring this with what we call our Bring a Buddy campaign. There's a pretty healthy bonus tied to that. It's equal to a month's salary for an agent for every person that they refer. And we pay that out in increments at 30 days, 60 days, and at 6 months. So I think we paid 23 million pesos in 2011 on referral bonuses alone. Training, there's so many things we could talk about inside of this space, and I'm running short on time, I know, so I'll scoot along. And I do want to touch on a few more things, though, that I think you will find interesting. Training, the one thing I would point out here that it's important for you to press back on your clients is the degree of localization that has to take place in your training content and curriculum for whether it be the Philippines, whether it be for India, or whatever offshore location it may be serviced from. We see the highest degree of success in minimizing the speed to proficiency from an agent who graduates from training and into the expected level of quality from a KPI perspective when we have an engagement with a customer who is willing and free to support us in designing the training that we know is going to be most effective. Just a simple example inside of the financial services space. Most of our agent pool population don't have credit cards. They have absolutely no idea how the credit rating or the scoring system works in the U.S. No exposure to what an APR is. This is all complete foreign concepts, but yet to dive right into what is probably a U.S.-designed training content and curriculum and then just train that to somebody here is going to put them in a position to fail. So again, unfortunately, not every customer is completely flexible in this regard. Many of them, of course, are siloed inside of the business, and you've got to get them talking to each other on their side of the fence, but at least putting that forward and pressing your customers to design and localize and make it Philippines-specific. So for us, we're going to make the investments in the time to focus on understanding the concepts, where your customer is coming from, and all the things why relative to the business before ever jumping into the product training itself. Let's get through leadership training. We touched on this already. Teleperformance University was mentioned in the video. Teleperformance University, this is not a few hours or an online course. It's a 6-week curriculum that we host in Monterrey, Mexico. And across the group in the 49 countries, the chief executive officer in each location is identifying who they feel to kind of be their successor or their future leaders inside of the operation, sending them to TPMEX for 6 weeks, and they go through a full course training that is led by instructors who come from all facets of the business. We expose them to our CFOs, we expose them to our CIOs, we support them to the business development team, the operations group, so they get a full appreciation of what the industry really is all about, how all of the different pieces intertwine, and how they all play a part with one another. And I think that's a very unique and is a differentiating experience absolutely for the leadership team.